ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਚੈਨਲ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਕਲਾਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਸੋ ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਪਿਛਲੀ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੇਨ ਕੋਰਸ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੁੱਕ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਆਨਸਰ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਹਨ, ਇੱਕ ਵੱਖਰੀ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਬਣਾ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ। ਸੋ ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਡਿਮਾਂਡ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ ਵੱਖਰੀ ਵੀਡੀਓ, ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦੇ ਮੇਨ ਕੋਰਸ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਿਲੇਬਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਆਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਜਿਹੜੇ 4 ਲੈਸਨ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਆਨਸਰ ਮੇਨ, ਸ਼ਾਰਟ, ਲੌਂਗ ਤੇ ਸਮਰੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ। ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਸੋ ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਵੀ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਕਰੀਨ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ, ਇਹ ਸਿਲੇਬਸ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਇਸ ਸੈਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ। ਸੋ ਮੇਨ ਕੋਰਸ ਬੁੱਕ ਦੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ 4 ਚੈਪਟਰ ਨੇ, 5 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 8 ਤੱਕ। ਸਮ ਗਲਿੰਪਸਿਸ ਆਫ ਏਸ਼ੀਐਂਟ ਇੰਡੀਆ, ਹੋਮ ਕਮਿੰਗ, ਮੇਕਿੰਗ ਆਫ ਦਾ ਅਰਥ, ਰੂਲ ਆਫ ਦਾ ਰੋਡ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਚਾਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੇਨ ਕੋਰਸ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਆਨਸਰ ਆਣਗੇ। ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਚਾਰਾਂ ਲੈਸਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਾਰਟ, ਲੌਂਗ ਤੇ ਸਮਰੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਆਨਸਰ। ਸੋ ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਬਿਨਾਂ ਸਮਾਂ ਵੇਸਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਇਸ ਅਗਲੀ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੋਇਮ ਤੇ ਸਪਲੀਮੈਂਟਰੀ ਰੀਡਿੰਗ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਮੇਨ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਆਨਸਰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਵਾਂਗੇ। ਸੋ ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਚੈਪਟਰ ਨੰਬਰ 5, ਸਮ ਗਲਿੰਪਸਿਸ ਆਫ ਏਸ਼ੀਐਂਟ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਥਾਟ ਐਂਡ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸਿਸ। ਸੋ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ। ਪਹਿਲਾ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ, what caused desperation to the gods? Answer, there was a fight between the demons and the gods. The demons seemed to have an upper hand. It caused desperation to the gods. अगला क्वेश्चन, who did the gods go to in desperation? Answer, the gods went to Lord Vishnu. They wanted to know the way to defeat the demons. अगला क्वेश्चन, what was Lord Vishnu advice to the gods? Answer, Lord Vishnu advised the god to get a mighty sword prepared from the bone of some great sage. अगला क्वेश्चन, what was the sacrifice of Saint Dahichi? Answer, he laid down his life so that his bone could be made into an invincible weapon for the gods. अगला क्वेश्चन, what is the real sprint behind the yajna performed in our home? Answer, it is the spirit of charity, renunciation, sacrifice and detachment. अगला क्वेश्चन, what does the tradition of feeding birds and animal prove? Answer, it proved that the people of our country believe in the unity and sanctity of all life. अगला क्वेश्चन, why did some scholar laugh at Ashtavakra? Answer, Ashtavakra had a deformed body. He looked very ugly. Therefore, some scholar laughed at him. अगला क्वेश्चन, how did Ashtavakra react when some scholar laughed at him? Answer, Ashtavakra became very angry. He called them Skinner because they measured the worth of a person from his skin. अगला क्वेश्चन, what did Vivekanand say to the lady who laughed at his simple dress? Answer, he said that it was the tailor who made a man in the lady's country, but in his own country it was the real worth and character of a person that mattered. अगला क्वेश्चन, what was the status of a woman in ancient India? Answer, in ancient India women enjoyed a high status. No auspicious function was considered complete without their participation. अगला क्वेश्चन, why did Shivaji bow his head before the woman who was brought to him as a gift? Answer, Shivaji had great regard for women. He looked upon them as his mothers. That's why he called that woman mother and bowed his head before her. अगला क्वेश्चन, why according to you were the war fought in the Mahabharata and Ramayana sacred? Answer, these were fought to defend and uphold the honor of motherhood. That was why they were considered sacred. So अगे है इसी लेसन दे विचों long answer type question सॉल्व करते हैं। पहला क्वेश्चन, why according to the author should those people be ashamed of themselves who believe in female foeticide? Answer, the author said that the India is a land where women were always held in great regard. No auspicious ceremony was considered complete without their participation. The two great epics, the Ramayana and Mahabharata, also uphold the honor of women. In such a country, the evil of female foeticide is indeed a matter to be ashamed of. अगला question, how did the author support the idea of the victory of good over the evil? Answer, the author gives the example of the Hichi and Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji's son. These great souls sacrificed their life for the cause of good. The Hichi sacrificed his life to give the gods an invincible weapon against the Asurs. The young sons of Shri Guru Gobind Singh sacrificed their life for the sake of their faith and the principles of justice. अगला question, what is the basic difference between the position of women in society in the ancient times and now? Answer, in the ancient times women enjoyed a very high position. No auspicious ceremony was considered complete without their participation. They were never looked upon an object of lust. Now women are not given their due regard. The incidents of dowry killing and female forticides are a matter of shame for us. Agla question, what does the practice of langar stand for? Explain. Answer, langar is a symbol of love and fellow feeling. It is a symbol of brotherhood and equality. It tells that we should eat only after we had shared our meal with others. By sharing our meal with others, we develop a great feeling of love and brotherhood. Agla question, give an example to prove that in ancient India there was no discrimination on the basis of caste. Answer, we find a great example of it in the Ramayana. Lord Rama ate the tasted berries from a Bhil woman. The woman was a Shudra while Rama was a Kshatriya. It showed that in ancient India there was no discrimination on the basis of caste. So ਹੁਣ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇਸ lesson ਦੀ summary. Some glimpses of ancient India thought and practices. Introduction. In this chapter the author tells about the tradition and practices prevalent in ancient India. He said that our old philosophy teach us the spirit of detachment, but now corruption, greed and lust for easy money have overshadowed this novel philosophy. Our old philosopher teach us that the whole universe is one family, but now we have forgotten this philosophy. In ancient India, there was no discrimination on the basis of caste, creed or sex. But now such discrimination is quite prevalent. Women are not getting their rightful place in the society. The practice of female foticide has become very common. So ਇਹ ਸੀ ਸਾਰੇ short, long ਤੇ summary ਤੁਹਾਡੇ chapter number 5 ਤੋਂ. ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੀ, some glimpses of ancient India thought and practices ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ. So ਵਧਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਗਲੇ chapter ਵੱਲ. So ਅੱਗੇ ਹੈ chapter 6, chapter number 6, the homecoming. ਪਹਿਲਾ question, who was Fatik? Answer, Fatik was a 14-year-old boy. He was the ringleader among the boys of his village. His fertile mind always thought of new mischiefs. Agla question, what was the new mischief Fatik thought of? Answer, there was a log lying on the bank of the river. He planned to roll the log away with the help of the other boy. In this way, he wanted to annoy the owner and enjoy the fun. Agla question, what were Fatik and his friend annoyed with Makhan? Answer, Fatik and the other boy wanted to roll the log away, but Makhan came and sat down on the log. This annoyed Fatik and his friends. Agla question, what was Fatik's new maneuver? Answer, Fatik said his followers to roll the log with Makhan sitting over it. Thus he thought would give them added amusement. Agla question, why did Fatik beat Makhan even in the presence of his mother? Answer, Makhan lied to his mother that Fatik had beaten him. Fatik could not bear this, therefore he beat Makhan. Agla question, was Makhan speaking the truth? Answer, no, he was not speaking the truth. Fatik had not beaten him. In fact, it was Makhan who had beaten Fatik. Agla question, why did Fatik's mother want to send him away to her brother's house? Answer, the mother had a prejudice against Fatik. She thought that he would someday drown Makhan in the river or break his head in a fight. Therefore, she wanted to send him away. Agla question, how was Fatik received by his aunt? Answer, the aunt was not at all pleased. She thought of Fatik as an unnecessary addition to her family. Agla question, why could not Fatik do well at school? Answer, Fatik was ill-treated at his uncle's house. He was always sad. He could not put his mind to his studies. Naturally, he could not do well at school. Agla question, how did Fatik's aunt behave on learning about the loss of his book? Answer, the aunt called Fatik a country lout. She said that she could not buy him new books 5 times a month. Agla question, what was the immediate reason for Fatik's departure for his uncle's house? Answer, one day Fatik had a bad headache and shivering fit. He feared he would become a nuisance to his aunt. That was why he left the house. अगला क्वेश्चन, why did Bishambar sent for अगला क्वेश्चन, what did Bishambar send for his sister? Answer, Fatik was seriously ill. The doctor said that the boy condition was critical. That's why Bishambar sent for his sister. अगला क्वेश्चन, what were Fatik's last word? Answer, Fatik's last word were, mother, the holidays have come. अगला क्वेश्चन, how did Fatik feel when he is at Kolkata? So ये ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ long question answer ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਇਥੋਂ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੀ, ਸੋਲਵ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਹੈ, how did Fatik feel when he is at Kolkata? Answer, while at Kolkata, Fatik feel like a fish out of water. His aunt ill-treated him. His cousin mock at him. At school, his teacher cane him daily. All this make Fatik's life very miserable. He longs to go back to his village home. अगला question, why does Bishambar want to take Fatik to Kolkata? Answer, the mother is prejudiced against Fatik. She think of him as a big nuisance. She called him lazy, wild and disobedient. Bishambar want to help his widowed sister, so he offered to take Fatik with him to Kolkata. He say he will educate him there with his own children. अगला question, who is responsible for Fatik's death? Answer, it is solely the cruel aunt who is responsible for Fatik's death. She dislikes the boy from the very beginning. She think of him as an unnecessary addition to her family. She ill treats him all the time. Even when the poor boy is critically ill, she call him a nuisance. We can say that the heartless which caused the poor boy's death in the end. अगला question, write a character sketch of Bishambar. Answer, Bishambar is Fatik's maternal uncle. He has a lot of love for his widowed sister. He find that Fatik is a trouble for his sister. He offered to take him to Kolkata. He say he will educate him there with his own sister. Truly Bishambar is loving brother, but he is now imaginative. He commit a blunder in taking Fatik to Kolkata. अगला क्वेश्चन, राइट अ कैरेक्टर स्केच ऑफ मक्खन। सो बच्चों, ये जिन्ने भी कैरेक्टर स्केच ने सारे इंपॉर्टेंट ने, इन्हां विचों कोई ना कोई प्रश्न पेपरां दे विच आ जांदा है, ठीक है जी। शुरू करते हैं। आंसर, मक्खन इज अ Fatik's younger brother. He is the darling to his mother. She called him a good as gold, but we see that Makhan is not that good. He is a spoil sport. He comes and sit on the log when the other boy want to roll it away. He also tells lie to his mother about Fatik. अगला क्वेश्चन, राइट अ कैरेक्टर स्केच ऑफ Fatik's aunt. Answer, Fatik's aunt is a heartless witch. She dislikes Fatik from the very beginning. She think of him as an unnecessary addition to her family. She ill treats him all the time. Even when the poor boy is critically ill, she call him a nuisance. She has no womanly feeling in her heart. It is she who can be held solely responsible for Fatik's death. अगला क्वेश्चन, राइट अ कैरेक्टर स्केच ऑफ Fatik's mother. Answer, Fatik's mother is a simple-hearted lady. She is a widow and has 2 sons to bring up. She is prejudiced against Fatik, the elder one, but it does not mean she does not love him. She agreed to send him to Kolkata with her brother, but then she feels sad to see how anxious Fatik is to go. She is after all a mother. अगला क्वेश्चन, गिव अ पेन पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ Fatik. Answer, Fatik is a 14-year-old boy. He is the ringleader among the boys of his village. He has a fertile mind. He keeps thinking of new mischiefs. His mother is fed up with him. She sent him away to Kolkata with her brother. Now Fatik begin to feel like a fish out of a water. He longs to go back to his village home, but he has to wait until the holiday of his life comes. अगला क्वेश्चन, डिस्क्राइब द क्रूअल बिटवीन Fatik and Makhan. Answer, Fatik and his friend want to roll a log away, but Makhan come and sit on the log. He does not care for Fatik's warning. Fatik asks the boy to roll the log. As they do so, Makhan fell down. Now Makhan gets a fall upon Fatik and scratched his face. Then he goes home crying. He tell his mother that Fatik had beaten him. Fatik can't bear this telling of lie. He rains on Makhan a shower of blows. So ਬੱਚਿਓ ਇਹ ਸੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਲੈਸਨ ਚੈਪਟਰ ਨੰਬਰ 6 ਦਾ ਹੋਮਕਮਿੰਗ, ਛੋਟੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ। ਸੋ ਅੱਗੇ ਵਧਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਅਗਲਾ ਚੈਪਟਰ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ 7 ਨੰਬਰ, ਚੈਪਟਰ ਨੰਬਰ 7 ਦਾ ਮੇਕਿੰਗ ਆਫ ਅਰਥ। ਸੋ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਨੰਬਰ ਪਹਿਲਾ, what are planets? Answer, a body that goes round a star is called a planet. For example, the sun is a star and the earth goes round it, thus the earth is a planet of the sun. अगला question, define the solar system. Answer, the solar system means the family of the sun. It includes the sun, its planets and the satellites of these planets. अगला question, how can you distinguish between planets and stars? Answer, stars twinkle while planets don't. This is a real way to distinguish between planets and stars. अगला question, why do the stars twinkle? Answer, the star like the sun are balls of fire. As their ray pass through the different layer of the atmosphere, they seems to be twinkling. अगला question, how was the earth formed? Answer, the earth shot out from the sun. In the beginning it was very hot. It took millions of years to cool down. अगला question, how were ocean and sea formed? Answer, to begin with the earth was very hot. When it cooled, all the water vapors in the air considered into the water. It came down as rain. It rained heavily. All the hollows of the earth were filled. Thus ocean and sea were formed. So अगला question, why does the moon look bigger than the stars? Answer, the moon look bigger than the star because moon it is quite near to the earth. So आओ ਹੁਣ इसे लेसन दे लॉन्ग क्वेश्चन आंसर करते हैं। सो पहला है, what are planets? Define the solar system. Answer, a body that goes around a star is called a planet. For example, the sun is a star and the earth goes around it. Thus the earth is a planet of the sun. The solar system means the family of the sun. It includes the sun, its planet and the satellite of these planets. अगला question, write a short note on the making of the earth. Answer, long ago the earth and the other planet were part of the sun. Somehow little bit of the sun shot away from it. One of these bit was our earth. To begin with it was hot as the sun, but very slowly it started to cool and then life began to appear on it. अगला question, write a few words on the happy family of the sun. Answer, the sun has its planets and the planets have their satellites. All these form a happy family. They are called the solar system. Solar means beginning to the sun. The sun is the father of all the planets. Therefore the whole group is called the solar system. So ये सी थोड़ा चैप्टर नंबर 7 द मेकिंग ऑफ द अर्थ। सो अगे इसकी समरी करते हैं। समरी रह गई है, समरी द मेकिंग ऑफ द सन, द मेकिंग ऑफ द अर्थ इंट्रोडक्शन। सो करते हैं। दिस चैप्टर इज एन एक्सट्रैक्ट फ्रॉम द नेहरूज लेटर फ्रॉम अ फादर टू हिज डॉटर. He wrote these letters to his daughter in the summer of 1928 when she was at Missouri. In this chapter, Nehru defines the solar system to which our Earth belongs. He differentiates between a planet and a star. He talks of the breaking away of the Earth from the sun and breaking away of the moon from the Earth. He also talks about the gradual cooling of the Earth and the moon and the formation of the Great Ocean. ठीक है जी। सो बच्चों ये सी ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਲੈਸਨ ਨੰਬਰ 7 ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਦ ਮੇਕਿੰਗ ਆਫ ਦ ਅਰਥ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਾਰਟ ਲੌਂਗ ਤੇ ਸਮਰੀ। ਸੋ ਆਓ ਵਧਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਾਸਟ ਚੈਪਟਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੇਪਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਣਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਹੈ ਚੈਪਟਰ ਨੰਬਰ 8 ਦ ਰੂਲ ਆਫ ਦ ਰੋਡ। ਸੋ ਆਓ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਨੰਬਰ 1, ਵਾਈ ਵਾਸ ਦ ਸਟਾਊਟ ਲੇਡੀ ਵਾਕਿੰਗ ਡਾਊਨ ਦ ਮਿਡਲ ਆਫ ਅ ਰੋਡ? ਆਂਸਰ, she thought she had liberty to walk wherever she liked. She said now they had got liberty. अगला क्वेश्चन, how was a stout lady mistaken about liberty? Answer, she failed to understand that if every man were free to do what he likes, there would be no freedom at all. There would be a chaos everywhere. अगला question, what does the policeman at Piccadilly Circus symbolize? Answer, he symbolized the true meaning of liberty. He put a little check on personal liberty so that there is a social liberty. अगला question, can we do whatever we feel like doing? Answer, liberty is not a personal affair, it is a social contract, so we can't be free to do whatever we like to do. अगला question, what was the writer reading during the journey? Answer, he was reading a blue book. अगला question, why did the writer need a reasonable silence in the compartment? Answer, the writer was not reading the book for pleasure, he was reading it for a serious purpose. That was why he needed a reasonable silence. अगला question, who disturbed the author on the train? Answer, two passengers boarded the train. One of them kept talking lady. The author could not concentrate on the book he wanted to read. Agla question, what was the intruding passenger talking of? Answer, he was not talking of any particular thing, he was talking of any and every object under the sun. Agla question, what is the basis of social contract? Answer, a reasonable consideration for the right of other is the basis of social contract. Agla question, we should be a judicious mixture of both. What does the writer mean by this statement? Answer, there can be neither be a complete social liberty nor complete individual liberty. There must be a judicious mixture of both. So आओ हम इसे लेसन दे लॉन्ग क्वेश्चन आंसर करते हैं. क्वेश्चन नंबर पहला, व्हाट इज द थीम ऑफ द एसे द रूल ऑफ द रोड एक्सप्लेन. बच्चों बेहद इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, चंगी तरह याद कर लेना. आंसर, liberty is not a personal affair, it is a social contract. Our personal liberty must not become a cause of nuisance for other. It is a good to have a personal liberty, but we must have reasonable consideration for the rights of other. Only then we can sweeten the journey of life. Question, describe in your own word how the writer was disturbed during his train journey. Answer, during his train journey the writer wanted to do some serious reading, but two women boarded the train and sat next to him. One of them started talking loudly. He kept talking irrelevantly all the time. He made it impossible for the writer to continue with his reading. Agla question, liberty is not a personal affair only but a social contract. Explain. Answer, liberty is not a personal affair, it is a social contract. Unrestrained personal liberty can be lead to chaos only. Our personal liberty should not intrude into the liberty of other. It should not become a nuisance for other. In order to sweeten the journey of life, we should have a reasonable regard for the liberty of others. So again, summary इसे lesson दी the rule of the road. So करते हैं the rule of the road introduction. We have the liberty to do what we like, but our liberty should never interfere with the liberty of other. If every man were free to do whatever he likes, there would be a chaos everywhere. The rule of the road means that to preserve the liberty of all. The liberty of everybody must be curtailed there. That is why what a policeman of the road does. Liberty is not a personal affair, it is a compromise of social contract. We are free in matter which don't touch the liberty of anyone, but in matter which affect the liberty of other, we have to curtail our liberty. We should never do anything that can cause discomfort to those around us. ठीक है जी. सो ਇਹ ਸੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੁੱਕ ਹੈ इंग्लिश मेन कोर्स ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਿਲੇਬਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 5 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 8 ਤੱਕ ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ 4 ਚੈਪਟਰ ਆਣੇ ਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਾਰਟ, ਲੌਂਗ ਤੇ ਸਮਰੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ. ਸੋ ਅਗਲੀ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੋਇਮ ਤੇ ਸਪਲੀਮੈਂਟਰੀ ਰੀਡਿੰਗ ਇਹ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਕੰਪਲੀਟ ਕਰ ਦਾਂਗੇ. ਸੋ ਜੇਕਰ ਦੋਸਤੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਮਟੀਰੀਅਲ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਵੀ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਰਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਸਕਿੱਲ ਵੀ ਲੈ ਲਈਏ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਸੋ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪੈਰਾਗ੍ਰਾਫ, ਲੈਟਰ, ਨੋਟ ਮੇਕਿੰਗ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨੀਚੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੱਸ ਦਿਆ ਕਰੋ. ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਜਲਦ ਤੋਂ ਜਲਦ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਈਏ ਤਾਂ ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪੇਪਰ ਚੰਗੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਣ. ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੀ. ਸੋ ਇਹ ਤੱਕ ਲਈ ਇੰਨਾ ਹੀ, ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਨਵੀਂ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਵੀਂ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ. ਤਦ ਤੱਕ ਲਈ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ.